In this Camtasia tutorial, I'm going to show you how to blur sensitive information in a video using Camtasia. Hi, my name is David, and if this is your first time watching my Camtasia tutorial and you get any value from this type of content, kindly consider subscribing, liking the video, and share it with your friends so that we can all learn. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because my approach to blurring sensitive information revolves around the background, that the area that particular information is. For example, if it's an email address, also really depends on if there's a scrolling window, for example, in the scenario that we have here. As I've mentioned, it really depends sometimes on the background. For example, if I just open up, I detach the canvas, I've already blurred out the emails, but you'll notice that this is not the standard blur that I've used. I've only used a shape, and I've selected the color to match the background, so you'd not know that there's any blurring that has occurred here. This has happened as well here. So for this video, let's try and imagine that I was trying to blur my name. So let's say I'm trying to blur my name, and we are going to use, first of all, the shapes, and let's just minimize and reattach the canvas. Now what happens is, I'd like to recommend that when you're blurring sensitive information, you can do it frame by frame, and also you can also use custom animations. I prefer to do it frame by frame, especially when there's a scrolling window, because it gives me higher flexibility of what I'm working with. If you're going to have any animations on your timeline, for example zoom ins and zoom outs, sometimes you may find that adding the blurs first or blurring information first works best. Sometimes when you blur the sensitive information later on, once you're done with all the animations. So for example, here we have my name in the top left, and we also have my name here. On my top left, this information is static, but in the middle there is scrolling information here. So if we start with this particular information, we can come to the annotations, and then we have the options annotations, arrows, shapes. Then we have the special annotations, where we have the blur, the spotlight, the highlight, the interactive hotspot, and the pixelate annotation. You can use the blur, but if I drop it here, I'd like us to notice how it looks like. It has an intensity of about 100, and we'll try and magnify this slightly, just expand it a little bit. If we try and use this, let's say in the top left, you'll notice that when I try to blur my name, some sort of information or the blur can be easily seen, and somebody might notice what is going on. You try to be as stealth as possible. If I bring this down, reattach canvas, if I bring this down, then the blur goes away. Normally, when I'm dealing with such a situation where there is actually color or even white background like this, what I tend to do is I tend to remove the blur annotation and come back to the shapes. Let's just close this, come back to the shapes, and just drag any abstract or basic shape, just drag it here, and there's a white shape. And then what I need to select is a different solid color for this particular next to my name. So you'll just come here and pick the color picker and just select somewhere just close to my name. Now we have that. I can maximize this particular canvas and detach it. So let's maximize it. And the reason why we are doing this is because we want to be as close as possible to blur that particular sensitive information. So I'll just come here, I'll just minimize this, and then bring it up here. Once I do that, just come pick on the edges. My name gets up to there, and then do this, and then work with this. And if I click out, you'll not notice like this anything that has happened. But I've blurred that particular information for that section without using the blur annotation and without making it look like there's something that is going on massively. So if this whole video stretches to the end, what you can do is now pull this annotation to the end. And once you pull it out, you can see that it's static all through. There we go. And then now we have this section where there is scrolling of the window. Now, that's usually the tricky part. But since I've already labeled some of the sections where the movement occurs, you can just come here. And as we did in the previous couple of minutes ago, let's say we decide to use the blur annotation. Now, if you look at it, let's just put it in here. There we go. And what we want to blur is my name. If I maximize the canvas, you'll notice that this the blur is quite intensive, and we try to be as stealth as possible. Sometimes this is not possible. For example, if you look at this, let's just maximize. It's going to be visible to the human eye, especially when I'm using the arrows to move it up, especially when you want to have some stealth to your blurring. And therefore, even for this particular section, I just use a shape. Just delete this, just go to the shapes annotations, just drag and drop. And as you've realized, the name begins at the start. So I might need to go back at the start, but since I know it is static for the first 21 seconds, I'll just pull this behind once I'm satisfied with my first, with setting it up in the first section. So here we go. We are going to just set it up so that we can blur my name. Let's just come here. Let's just maximize so that you can see everything clearly, that you're not blocking the border to this particular box for my name. Let's come back. Let's pull this up. You can just pull this up slightly. Click outside. Now, once you click outside, you'll notice my name is no longer there. If I can just close this, and then if I can just click on the eye to disable track, you'll notice that my name is there. But when this is available, the disable track is on, then you will not see my name. And since I've mentioned the first 21 seconds there is no movement, I can just pull this to the start. Now the movement starts here. So normally you'll find that you can use animations, for example, do a custom animation. But what you need to do is, once you drag in the custom animation, let's say you drag in the custom animation here, you'll target it to get to the end. For example, if this is my end, let's say that is my end, then this call out should end somewhere here. Now, unfortunately, I don't really like using the call out because it doesn't give me flexibility. The other option I do is cutting this particular blur annotation or the shape that I'm using individually, and sometimes it takes a lot of time, especially when you're dealing with a lot of sections or videos that involve blurring information. So if I can just press on S to cut at this particular section, that is cutting this particular shape, and then move a step forward using the period key, move again, we notice that now my name is visible. So we can just come back up slightly. We move back using the comma. So that's the start. It's blurred. 1, 2. So we see my name first. Now what we need to do here is just click on this particular section and press on S. We've made the first cut. Now this shape that is blurring our information, you can just move it using the arrow keys upwards slightly. Now you've blurred the next section. Press on the period key to move forward, or you can just click on this particular section, next frame, but you can see you use the period key. Just click on this, just keep pressing on the period key. It's moved, so you can cut again, so that you try to make the information or the blurring in uniform to avoid anyone noticing anything. And as I mentioned, you can still detach the canvas to see what you're doing, and clicking on this particular instant, you can actually activate the particular annotation that you're working with. We can just close that out and keep going. And there we are, we see our name again. So if this was an email, you'll keep doing this For example, for this particular section, just keep pushing everything up. There we go. Move to the next section, and now I'm rushing because I've already made the necessary cuts. Just move that, and then just move that to there. Just click on this, push it up, and then we can keep going until the section where there I've seen my name slightly. There we go. Click on this, bring it up, and you can try and just move this up a little bit. You can detach and magnify, or actually maximize. Click on this. You see everything is inside, but you can still just define it that way. So it gives you more flexibility, and when you look at it, you actually don't even realize there's anything there. There is a call out actually here, but you cannot see it because I'm not using that particular section. We just reattach the canvas, and then if we move another step, our name is still visible. Just make another cut. Make sure that you're making the cut to the right shape. Let's move it up again. We can maximize, detach. So this one needs us to be in maximum view, so that we can just pull this up, bring this down, and you see you can barely notice anything. If we just close this and then move forward slightly, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. So we've blurred this particular section, this particular scrolling section, just by using a shape to a point where you cannot notice that there is a name missing or anything going on there. So let's just maximize. And this one seems to be out of place. Just bring it down there. Escape, reattach canvas. So we can move to the start. So you'll notice that I blurred this particular section using a shape, and this particular section as well. Sometimes the annotation, the blur annotation, doesn't really give you that good effect that you want, and the alternative is using shapes and the colors that are next to the particular section that you want to blur. If you're dealing with sections of multi-colors, then there is where you're at a disadvantage, because you cannot select any other thing that will really work out well. The blur might be the only solution, but sometimes I've noticed that the blur may end up not working as advertised. I don't know why, but sometimes that happens. And as always save your project. So if we just scroll through, as we look at this particular section, let's just detach this and just scroll through. There we go. There's no name there. There's no name here. We just go through. There's no name there. There's no name there. And then we come to the scrolling window. I'll just press on the period key and keep moving. There we go. There we go. There's no name there. There's no name there. We just keep going. Just keep going. And now we come to the section where we are almost starting to move back down. Just keep going. Keep going. Now you notice my name again because the scrolling window is coming down. So what I'm trying to say is that you can use shapes to blur sensitive information, especially when you have solid backgrounds, and this works really well, or when you don't want to use the blur annotation. This is a simple way for you to blur sensitive information in a video using Camtasia, and you can just try it out on your own and see how it works for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got any value from this particular content, kindly like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more Camtasia tutorials. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.